Hello YouTube, my name is Bro. For this video we are going to be showing off some game pickups which I got earlier this week, and I meant to show them Tuesday, but we're going to do that, and I'm also going to talk a little bit about this coming event which is going to be taking place beginning next Friday, and that is called UtaPri 5th Stage. I'm going to explain what it is, and also going to explain where it's taking place this year, because it's a doozy, let me tell you. Okay, first the game pickups. We're going to do this in alphabetical order, kids. First game is Dramatical Murder Recode, which was rated, I don't know if you can see that, C by Setero. Setero, for those who are unaware, is the Japanese equivalent to the ESRB. It stands for Computer Entertainment Ratings Organization, and C means the game is 15 and up. For those who are unaware, and I may have mentioned this before in the past, but games in Japan are rated differently, and they also use different content warnings. We use text-based. They quite literally use pictures, such as a gun for violence. They use one for romance, although they have to, believe it or not, for the romance ones they use a male and a female, even if the game is a same-sex only. There's ones for drugs and all that other stuff on the back, as you can see clearly back here. This is the game that was actually being promoted by the anime which came out now about 2 years ago. Well, if you were in the game fandom, you may or may not have liked it because of the way things were stripped down or edited down. And that's fine. And I've gotten flack for probably making a video about that. But you might not have liked the way they edited down and toned down things, but a lot of people, I don't think, were clear or understood that they were marketing this, not the PC games. The PC games are like a billion times more hardcore. Let's just say I've seen pictures. Alright, kids? And I've seen the good ends and the fucked up ends, just so we're clear. The second game is Gauken Heaven 2 Double Scramble. For those who remember, I did a while back, I did the review for a anime called Gauken Heaven Boys Love Hyper. Well, that was the anime version of Gauken Heaven Boys Love Scramble, which is created by Spray. This game, I've neglected to mention, was created by Nitro Chirol. But anyway, the Gauken Heaven anime is really good, and I highly recommend people watch it. Even if you've never played the games, never heard of the games, or anything of that nature. Please go watch that anime, because it actually is a very well done, I thought, series. And in my opinion, the animation still holds up. And I believe it's been about, 10 years since the anime was actually done. So that's pretty impressive. But yeah, please go check out that anime, and I'm going to be playing through both of these games at some point and giving you a full review on them. Yes, even with the language barrier. Just because I want to really challenge myself this year with my game reviews. Now then, speaking of animes and games, can we talk UtaPri? Excuse me. Beginning next Friday, literally 1 week from today. Well, technically you could say 1 week from yesterday, but that's splitting hairs. They're going to be doing a 3-day event. what's actually funny is it was supposed to only be one day. The one day was going to be the 17th of this month. But then ticket sales did a little better than what they thought it was going to. And then they had a second day, which was Saturday the 16th. Then they sold out that day. And they went, uh-oh, what are we going to do here? Now it's the entire weekend, 15th to 17th. And the name of the arena they're going to be doing, for anybody who's curious, excuse me, is the Saitama Super Arena. I'm going to try and find you a picture of it, and I'm going to actually post a link to it in the description down here so you can actually check out what the place looks like. It is huge. I saw someone had a put picture on Tumblr to show what exactly the place looks like. I'm not sure if it's bigger than the Tokyo Dome. I don't know its maximum capacity. Well, I know Saitama's is 36,500. Not totally sure about Tokyo Dome. So I don't know which is actually bigger. But the Saitama Super Arena is going to be hosting for 3 days. 3 days. 3 freaking days. A concert in which 11 voice actors playing the roles of characters in many respects are going to perform in front of a sold-out crowd for 3 straight days. If you told, just so we're clear, if you told people like, you know, Hiro Shimona, if you told Kisho Taniyama, Shinichi Suave, or Mamoru Mayano that when they started doing the lives for UtaPri, when somebody came up with the idea, hey, why don't you guys do a concert? And they were like, alright. And then they did the first show and it did well, and then they did another show and it did well, and then people started going, God damn, what the hell? You know? People wanted to see this. And now, it's like, you go 3rd stage, 4th stage, and they just kept getting bigger and bigger and big, and now, it's the 5th stage, show they're doing. This will be the 6-year anniversary of UtaPri, and they're doing a 36,500 seat arena. Think about that. And when you think about that, I want us to think about this too. I'm actually looking this up now. Okay, the Tokyo Dome. They're doing an arena right now. They're going to be doing an arena for 3 days, which is only like 19,000 seats less than the Tokyo Dome, which is 55,000, which holds every year the January 4th Tokyo Dome show, which is now called Wrestle Kingdom in Japan. Do you understand that? The Tokyo Dome held the SM Town Festival, pretty much, when they had all their different artists performing. And the UtaPri 5th stage is going to be doing a 30-some thousand seat arena for 3 days. That's the impressive thing. What's really impressive to me as a foreign fan, and a male fan, to be honest, is UtaPri's taken on this life of its own. It really has. It's gone from what we knew as a basic visual novel / ultimate game series, and it's become this life of its own. When you go and you see, in Japan, you see the billboards in the train stations. When you see, they actually have a store in Japan, this is no bullshit, called the Shining Store, which is named after Shining Seoton. When you see this, when you see a bus driving by with, the characters on a banner just plastered all over the thing, it makes you realize and appreciate how far they've come. Because what do you want to bet, especially with the anime, the success of the anime, which probably floors the hell out of them? What, UtaPri is just something that right now cannot be replicated. It is, and I've discussed this in another video, it is right now one of the gold standards in anime. It's one of the gold standards in anime is based off of an ultimate, because one of the big things is, with those usually is, you're handcuffed. You have to stick to the source material. So therefore, what can you really do? You're limited to pretty much a 12 episode series and you're done. UtaPri, because of the way it's branded itself, it's not just a game series anymore. It's not even just an anime series at this point, but it's also the music, the plushies, they have these little standy things that you can get. I think they're called neon droids. I know I'm saying that wrong, but yeah, then you got those. You got you have so many different. They have dream cushions, dream pillows now that you can buy for these guys, for God's sakes. It's literally one of the biggest franchises right now that's not named like Naruto, One Piece, Case Closed, whatever. It's arguably, probably, somebody can prove me wrong, maybe, but it's probably one of the longest running animes based on Ultimate series. You understand that? Do you understand that this season coming up, it's going to make it at least 52 episodes long, 53 if you count the OVA. Think about that for me. When you think about it, you understand and you appreciate what we're going to be going to. We're going to be hearing about or seeing. Now, saying all this brings me to what would I like to see come out of 5th stage. Okay, let's break this down. What would I like to see come out of 5th stage? Well, we need the following. We need news on the 4th season. We need that. Because right now, mum is the word, and I'm guessing that's only because they want to save it all for what's coming up probably next year. The pattern with UtaPri has always been it does a 13-week season and takes off for 2 years. This year, I want to hear them announce if this is going to be like one of the final seasons. I want to hear them announce that they're just going to blow out UtaPri with music. Like, literally make the series about the Princes of Song at this point. Because they've done a very good job of that. The tricky part is, and this is something that I'm wondering. You know you're marketing at least 2 groups. You got your main group, which is Starish, and you got the Quartet Night, the Senpais. Well, now, because of the way season 3 ended, you've got 7 new characters. So, what do? Do you actually have them show up but wait until the last day to do it? Do you announce not only the 4th season, but you announce there's going to be a game, but it involves heavens? Because see, here's the interesting thing about, like, UtaPri. If they want, and this is their right, they want the series to be about, Starish and Quartet Night at this point. And I'm totally fine with that, because that is the rivalry that was established in the 3rd season. The problem is, it's like you can have 2 stories going on. You can. It gets trickier, but if you're a good writer, you can write it. You can have that be one plot, and you can have UtaPri versus, or you can have UtaPri, but Starish versus Heavens. Because if you're going to do this, if you're going to have what is essentially going to be a 3-way feud, right? You need to be able to build up and to develop the groups. To be fair, and this is something that I've argued, Starish has had, to their credit, 2 seasons. You had 1000, 2000. Quartet Night, realistically, had about 5 episodes, if you think about it, of season 3, and the rest was pretty much going to be building up once you heard Cecil talk about, is it Cecil or Show? Talking about Heavens, that you were building up to potentially that confrontation at the end. But we also now have the other story. This is like the big arc that nobody's spoken about yet. Shining. We need to know why he was standing at the end with Raging atop his tower. We need to also know, in many respects, why was Ryuga uneasy in the limo ride in one of the episodes, because there was that situation. We also need to know, in many respects, why was one of the only rooms that was bugged in Seotom Gauken, the academy, why was the only room that was really monitored that music room? It was the only room where they really showed a camera. Outside of that scene in the first episode when, the gate was monitored. There was only 2 times. But why? We need all that explained. We need to know the backstories of the Heavens boys. So the argument is you need to give them a game. I'm thinking there may be more than one game announcement. We already know that Music 3 is coming out. Okay, fine. If we get an announcement of a Starish game with Quartet Night Roots, and we get a Heavens game, I'm fine with that. If we find out that there's actually a rival composer to Haruka that's coming in from Raging's agency, I'm fine with that too. There's so many different components that I need to know by the time this weekend ends, next week. You want to know as much as possible so you know how to set your expectations for it. Are we doing 113 episode season? I don't see how that's going to happen, not with 3 groups. Are we doing a 2-parter? You could do that. You could do 1 season which is devoted strictly to Heavens, and which is more Quartet Night and Starish together. I'm cool with that too. You could do, in theory, 3 seasons, or 3 parts, but to do that would be trickier, because here's what you would have to do. 1 goes to Heavens, 1 goes to Quartet Night with Starish sprinkled in, and the final one builds to Starish. Do you see where I'm going? Everything up to this point has built to Starish's big world debut. Yes, we know this. But Starish also has not suffered a setback, which, if you think about it, I know I'm looking for realism in a series where they talk about a fucking happy pulse, but think about this. You got, how do I explain this? You have a group that has been number 1 for 2 seasons, practically, right? Even in the real pop world, like the actual J-pop world, which is I think what they're trying to recreate in some cases, a group doesn't stay number 1 all the time. Do you get what I'm saying? You can fall to number 2. You can fall to number 3. And then eventually come back up to number 1 if your next song is a major hit. So it's not out of the realm of possibility or realism that Starish can be defeated. But what if this whole thing was a setup? What if this whole thing was to get all 3 groups in one area, and now we have the big one, a big world tour between all 3 groups, and you go 39 episodes or so, and maybe if you're going to really cap it off, You do one big OVA, or you do one big movie, and you send it off that way. If you think it's out of the realm of possibility, it's not. Not the way they've been setting this up since the end of season 2 to here now. Everything has set up to the point where there's some big revelations coming. I got that feeling. And I think, even if they wanted to end UtaPri at this point, its popularity is too big. You can't. You literally have to think next. Who's going to be the next group after Stars or Quartet Night? You can't just stop it, so I'm thinking they're going to go at some point with Heavens. I really do. People don't want to hear it, but I think that's what's going to happen. And I think that's going to be one of the... I think we're going to start to see that start to manifest itself at the 5th stage. Just my opinion, but it's where I see us going at this point in time. I want to see what they announced at 5th stage. The only disappointment could be if they announced nothing, if it's literally just a concert. But I have a feeling you wouldn't do 3 days and not announce anything. That's literally just me, but I don't think they're going to announce nothing. They're going to announce something. Something big. I don't know what it is yet. Anywho, that is the video. You all have a good one. I will talk to you all later.